Greetings, YouTube. I really didn't want to make this video. I didn't want to talk about this topic, but I can't sit idly by and listen to some people badmouth someone that suffered, calling them an abuser when in fact I don't believe they are. I'm talking about the Depp Heard trial. So from the title of this video, you know my position. Depp is an abuser, and he has been for decades. And that's ignoring his other character flaws, which is where he is an addict, which could or couldn't generate sympathy. He smokes around his kids, which doesn't generate sympathy from me at all. In fact, that was the first thing that I ever saw that made me begin to suspect that, this guy does in fact have a bit of an ego issue, that he's decided that his particular addictions don't matter if they harm anybody else. You may think that's very callous of me, and maybe it's very superficial, but no. A smart man once said that if you're smoking to die, and attempting to kill someone else in the process is immoral. So that was the first inkling for me that, I started looking at his behavior, and I began to look at him and I realized he's got a long list of behaviors of being abusive and manipulative and controlling. And we know that for a fact that he is an abuser. It was proved in a British court, the court system, that he is in fact an abuser. We know this. It is not disputed. We have many instances of evidence that he abused Heard. Now, we also seem to have evidence that Heard committed violent acts against him. And those fall into the category of self-defense. Because if you abuse someone long enough, they might fight back. But that isn't abuse. See, abuse isn't just violence. If drunk guy A and drunk guy B start swinging each other, that's not abuse. It's violence. It's not abuse. Abuse is more than just violence. Abuse is control. Abuse is power. It is a power dynamic imbalance. The abuser has the control over the victim. Whether it's a child, a spouse, or anyone else. If the abuser just can't get up and walk away, if the abused just can't leave because the abuser has control of their life, that's abuse. And if you're going to call Amber Heard an abuser, explain to me what power she has over Johnny Depp. The answer is none. All the power is in his hands. The money, the social connections, the bodyguards. Everything is in his control. And she has nothing. She fell for a charming, narcissistic asshole who turned out to be a drug-addicted abuser. Now, if you're an addict, you have my sympathy. But if while under the effects of your addiction, you hurt others, you don't. As soon as your addiction begins to harm other people, my sympathy ends. Now you're just a violent thug. And that's what Depp is. He's a violent thug with power and money and bodyguards. And so many lawyers, really good ones. They've spread the right kind of information in the right places, so they've got millions of people to do all their work for them, to salt the earth for Amber Heard. I've seen some of her work. I thought she was great in Aquaman. I really enjoyed her. I mean, it's not a great film, but it was entertaining, and she wasn't worse than anybody else. No one was better than William Dafoe, but then no one is. So I don't understand the hate against her. I especially don't understand the hate against her from a lot of people who are supposed to be like feminists. That's what they declare themselves to be, and yet they're pigpiling on top of a woman who has no power. Now you're going to say, well, she did X, Y, and Z, and maybe she's an asshole. Maybe she's responding to a situation that has put her under incredible amounts of social and mental and emotional stress. But that doesn't make her an abuser, and it doesn't make Depp innocent. And people are confusing that. Realize that he still has another case against him right now. And we have evidence. And yet people are supporting the abuser, which is in itself an act of abuse against her, being perpetrated by all of you who support Depp. So congratulations for pigpiling on top of a wounded, suffering human and making her suffering worse. That speaks so well of you. So yeah, I didn't want to talk about this. But Heard deserves support in this situation. Is she an angel? No. Did she fight back? Yeah. Do I support her in that? Yes. Would it be great if she was the perfect victim? Flawless? It doesn't exist, so it doesn't matter. I wasn't a flawless victim. My mother wasn't a flawless victim. I know people who have not been flawless victims. But all of us were victims of abusers. And I'm sick of seeing the abused made to suffer. Because the abuser in this case is popular? So, yeah, fuck Depp. And fuck everyone that supports him. Heard deserves our support, not our condemnation. And we should not make her suffering worse.